Bumbabees, and welcome back to the Bumba.cast. That's right, it's me, your girl, Teresa Bumbaco, here on today's 42nd episode of the Pop Cultured News. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope everybody's doing as well as they possibly can out there. I wanted to kind of touch on this and get it out of the way. Not really get it out of the way as if it's like an inconvenience, but kind of just, let you guys know kind of what's going on right now. If you follow me on social media, or if you don't, or if you just catch the vibe, something's going on. But I wanted to let you guys know that about a week ago today, from what I'm recording, I woke up around like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and just, had to go to the bathroom, took Snoop outside so he could go to the bathroom since we probably fell asleep pretty early. And I was like, I'll just let him go outside so we don't wait until the morning. Got back inside. Snoop started breathing really irregularly and honestly scary, the way he was breathing. So he was still breathing really hard in the morning when we got up for the day around like 8, 9 o'clock. So I immediately called my vet's office to make sure I could take him in right away. Because it was a Friday, so I didn't know what was going on over there. So they suggested I go to a different veterinarian's office that they team up with on Friday, since they didn't have any doctors in office on Friday for my vet. So I went to a different vet with Snoop. As soon as we got there, they had to evaluate him in the back and see if he needed to be put in oxygen. And they determined that he was critical enough that he needed to be put in the oxygen chamber immediately. So he was in oxygen for a while. They started doing x-rays, see what was going on inside. And then after, probably about an hour or so, I got pulled in the back. And it was like really ominous. They brought me to this back room that had, and like it was Friday, so they were busy. So I don't hold it against them at all, or, anything. And they already apologized because I was like, this was kind of messed up. But they only had one room available, and it was the room like in the very back that you can see people from the pet crematorium coming and getting deceased pets and like taking them away. And then like in the room there's also like this portrait of like these dogs in like heaven, seemingly over the rainbow bridge. And then there's like urn sizes and wooden boxes on the shelving units, and then a bunch of like these little wooden tags that people leave behind with messages to their deceased pets. And then there's like this framed photo of these two dogs that are on the shelving unit, and one of the dogs is named Delilah. Like I took videos of like, I was probably in shock after this, but like I took a video of it and I was like, why would they put me in a room like this, like after this? Um, but after, about 10 minutes of waiting, what seemed like forever, the vet that was overlooking Snoop came in the office, or came in the room, and she apologized once I was like, yeah, I don't have a good feeling about this room. She was like, yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's our only room, but I don't have good news. So when they looked at the x-ray and they showed me the x-ray, it showed that Snoop had a lot of fluid in his lungs and a lot of fluid surrounding the area near his heart. And it actually showed his heart, and his heart's about like 2 to 3 times the size it should be, which the vet told me what they can see in the x-ray is that Snoop has a heart murmur that, since obviously it never really affected his breathing or any activity wise or anything in his life before, and no other veterinarian had heard it, listening to his chest, had seen it in any other x-rays in the past or anything like that, because he's gotten them. Um, they think it was just so small, and now it's become an issue, and it's causing his certain walls of his heart to have I'm probably explaining this wrong, but the blood is backing up into certain walls of his heart, like toward his lungs. And that's causing his heart to work, a lot harder and cause a lot of strain on it since his heart is about 2 to 3 times the size it should be. It's pressing on the bottom of his windpipe. Right now, after I'm gonna make this as like quick as possible because I could sit here and tell you about it for 15, 20 minutes. But after his diagnosis, I know I'm not crying right now, but I broke down. I think I'm honestly masking a lot of what I'm feeling because I have a habit of doing this and it honestly scares the shit out of me because when I go through really traumatizing things or really intense emotional things that will alter my life as I know it, I tend to mask those things and try to push forward. And, I sacrifice my own peace trying to escape what I'm feeling, even though I don't even know I'm doing it when I'm doing it. I know I'm doing it now, but there's not really a way for me to stop it. Um, I mean, there's like certain things I'll like see things on the internet or like whatever, and I'll like, start crying or something like that. But as of right now, I am just focused on giving him his medication because the vet said that if he does well on his medication and responds well to treatment, his prognosis is about 9 to 14 months because of the congestive heart failure, and his heart size. So, I just kind of feel like I said, I'm like numb about it. He's asleep on my lap right now. So otherwise I'd, put him on camera. But yeah, so I'm obviously devastated. Because now this is my second terminal dog. Even though Delilah, I really thought she would like, as long as I kept her like okay and safe and she didn't go into remission, she didn't go like out of remission, she'd be okay. But she wasn't. And so that really like threw me. And really changed me in a way that put me into different places that I didn't think I would be. And overall came out on the other side better. But there was a lot of time where I was in such a dark place after Delilah died that I wouldn't have survived and kept living if it weren't for Snoop. So that's, I think, what's so scary for me is that, like, I don't want to get back to that place, that really deep, dark bottom that is all consuming and just like you just can't get out. It's just every day you wake up and you're just like, you don't even know. Like you don't even know what's going on. You feel sick. You feel like the world is just like gray. It's just I mean, it's like the weirdest fucking thing ever. And like I said, I don't want to keep talking about this forever, but what ended up happening was I had to take Snoop to the ER hospital locally overnight to stay in oxygen and continuously get his Lasix medication, is what it's called. It's the medication he's going to be on to continue to help drain the fluid from his lungs and around his heart to keep him comfortable. But the most important thing right now is he'll have been home for a week as of tomorrow afternoon. And I have been monitoring his breathing every single day and his demeanor and There hasn't been a day where he's missed a meal. There hasn't been a day where I feel like he's kind of slowed down at all. He doesn't even seem like more tired than normal. They also have him on a high blood pressure medication within those 3 that they have him on, so he's pretty well taken care of. I know some people, have opinions about like what they would do in this situation. Like, oh, like, well, in the end, it's not going to be good for them. Well, right now, Snoop is happy and healthy, like, aside from what's going on with his heart. And his demeanor is happy and bright. And the veterinarian that I take him to also agreed, like, you should, try to give medication and, who knows if he does really well on medication, he could live for a couple years. Like we could stop it, the progression of the heart enlargement and just keep it as steady as possible. I mean, obviously it's not going to revert or anything like that, but if we take our time with it, it could be a long time before Snoop is gone. Maybe that's me being in denial, but as long as my dog is happy and has a good demeanor and does not like actively struggle and does not seem to be struggling and is still parkouring off of all of my furniture and which I'm making sure he doesn't do now, but trying to run around and shit, he's still doing all of that. So this hasn't slowed him down aside from the fact that the murmur got bad enough that fluid was starting to back up into his lungs. Thank you, universe. I see that 444. So be kind if you're watching this on YouTube and comment. Be kind if you're watching or listening to this elsewhere. But just be kind about it because, you don't understand what it's like when you have a sick pet until you're going through it. And I would never willingly or purposefully allow my babies to ever suffer in any kind of way. So if I ever felt like for a second Snoop was suffering, I would make sure he was not suffering anymore. But I'm going to do everything I can to make sure he does not suffer. So before I continue, because like I said, I would make this 15, 20 minutes. I'm almost at 15, 20 minutes. But we're going to get right into the pop culture news. I'm going to chug this coffee and we're going to get into it because we got to lighten up the fucking mood. It's pretty fucking grim in here, don't you know? It's pretty fucking grim. Pretty grim. Okay, first up on the docket, we're going to talk about Steve-O and his ex-fiancée Lux real quick. Now, not a lot of people keep up with, people's relationships in pop culture and whatnot, but I fucking do, as you know. So, Steve-O and Lux were like, Jesus, sorry, my friggin' bun. A little water spout, little water spout bun is getting stuck on the shelf. Anyway, so Steve-O and Lux, they, as you know, Steve-O, jackass. Lux is, I think, like just a model. I'm not exactly sure what she does, but she seems cool enough. But her and Steve-O were together for a really long time. Okay, so they got engaged in 2018, and they broke up late last year.
Beware of your wandering eye, you little
No one told me. I mean, like, honestly, I'm kind of really upset and disappointed with myself because how did this get past me? I mean, I guess it I guess because it wasn't like some big messy breakup, so it just kind of was like, oh, they didn't even like unfollow each other or anything. I guess Steve-O in January of this year went on an episode of Steve-O Reveals or an episode of Wild Ride, episode number 250 called Steve-O Reveals Heavy Truths in Special AMA episode. He's talking about it on there, saying that they remain on good terms and still plan on starting an animal sanctuary together. I think that's a bad idea, but what do I know? Steve-O is also now seemingly dating some new girl, and that's what tipped me off to this because he, you know, so he posted on his main page, him and some other girl, and my hoodie's getting all fucked up. Sorry, Snoop. He posted on his main grid some other girl. Hi, baby. Come on the camera. Um, you're gonna hear him breathe. But yeah, no, he posted on his main grid, him and some new girl. And I was like, who is this? Her username is like at coral reef __ coral with a K if you're on Instagram. So that's who she is. I don't even know what her first and last name is. I really didn't even like put in the effort to like find out who this girl was, like in all honesty, because like it's not really relevant. It doesn't matter because like I'll tell you right now, I tried to look up online like why did Lux and Steve-O break up. I can't find any legitimate information. Like, nothing is telling me definitively, one way or another, why they broke up. Like, nothing. Like, I mean, maybe Steve-O said something in that episode, like, that says, like, oh, it's just like mutual, whatever. I don't know. But I need to know. Excuse me. I need to know what's really going on here because this is really upsetting to me. This is like really upsetting to me. Now Steve-O is dating some girl who writes in her Instagram bio things like explorer, lover, eternal optimist, and also links her esthetician page where I guess she shows off her brow and lip work along with makeup artistry. But still no name on the business page. She doesn't have very high following count on the esthetician page, which is fine. I mean, that's fine. And she also doesn't really on her personal page either, which is also fine. I'm not judging that. I'm not judging the follower count thing. I think I'm just like more so judging the fact that she doesn't list her names on her name on the business page or anything like that. I think that's weird. Maybe she took it off like when she started dating Steve-O. I don't know. But she doesn't look like super young. She looks like maybe around my age, maybe a little bit older, maybe a few years younger. It's hard to tell because she's wearing like heavy glam, like heavy makeup. So you really just never know which way it's gonna go until like they take their makeup off. Like she could take her makeup off and look 15 years old, or she could take her makeup off and look like 40 years old. It really depends. But yeah, so like I said, Steve-O and Lux still follow each other on Instagram. No bad blood between them. I guess the animal sanctuary is still a thing, but I don't know. I feel like once you get into a new relationship with somebody, I feel like the homegirl will probably be like, really? You're gonna still open an animal sanctuary with your ex-fiance? That's a little fucking weird. I mean, did my fucking Sopranos lights go out already? Like, this is a travesty. I think I need new batteries. But no, like, I just honestly think that they're on. Okay. So I don't know. I think like if I were Steve-O's girlfriend, Steve-O's new girlfriend, after he just got out of this like 6-year engagement with a woman, I think I'd be a little weirded out if he's like still talking about how like he's gonna still open an animal sanctuary with her. But mind you, he said that he was gonna still do this in January of this year. So like that. I mean, it's fucking almost damn near September, and I don't see an animal sanctuary going on. So I haven't heard about anything. So that's what's going on with that. Rip to that relationship. I mean, this is like kind of upsetting. This is like almost upsetting as almost as upsetting as when Steve-O and Kat Von D broke up before we knew Kat Von D was, like, low-key kind of into, like, Nazism, like, when people were, like, freaking out about that. So, um, I guess she apologized or did something, but she still had to sell her company. Like, she has nothing to do with Kat Von D, like, cosmetics anymore, which is kinda sad, I guess, but it is what it is. Aw, hi, baby. Meeps. Meeps. Oh, don't watch your little heads. It's a good thing it's a cushiony. It's a good thing it's a cushiony. Yes, it's a good thing it's a cushiony, isn't it? It's a good thing it's a cushiony, isn't it? You want some water? You thirsty? Yeah, you thirsty? You want some water? Probably so. Let me turn so you can get some water. Oh, let me turn, baby. Oh, yes, man. Ready? Let me get you. Oh, yes. There you go. Ooh, he do a shaker. Go get your water. Yeah, you thirsty. Ooh, what's he doing? Ooh, you want me to come with you? BRB, Snoop needs me to go with him to get some water. Okay, next up on the docket, we're going to be talking about Wendy Williams again. So I've briefly touched on Wendy Williams in previous podcasts about like kind of what's going on with her. So I'm not going to like reiterate, go over. This fucking hoodie is getting to me. I want my shoulders exposed for aesthetic. It's the style. I'm not even trying to like be showy like that. It's just like the style I'm trying to get going. Okay, anyway. So Wendy Williams recently called into the Breakfast Club podcast coming up yet again to speak with DJ Envy and Charlemagne the God and guest host Lauren LaRosa from her treatment facility. So during the interview, Williams said that she was not happy with being forced to take medication, and she's being forced to take 7 pills daily and is not aware what they're for or being told why she's having to take them. So she's quoted saying, "Where I am, okay, you have to get keys to unlock the door, to press the elevator, to go downstairs. Second of all, these people here, everybody is like a nursemaid, so to speak. They come in and give you your pills and then you leave. I've had 2 pills my whole life. There are 7 pills. I have no idea what this pill is doing. I haven't been to a pill person in a matter of a long time, to the point where, excuse me, doctor, can you tell me what this pill is for?" Williams continued, "For the last 3 years, I have been caught up in the system. This has been 3 years I've been caught up in this system." Also, her niece, Alex Finney, joined in on the call and spoke out against the guardianship, saying, "This is the reality. This has been our lives, but specifically her life. She can call us, but we can't call her. That's been the reality since 2023. That room is sitting in, she's there every day, all hours of the day, every week, every month. She's not getting proper sunlight. I went to New York in October to visit her, and the level of security and the level of questions that there were in terms of who I am, why am I here? What's the purpose? It was absolutely just horrible." So this whole like guardianship is crazy. And like I've spoken about it before. I think a lot of the reason that Wendy was put into this guardianship is honestly because she has been speaking out against a lot of people in Hollywood for a really long time, and she knows what a lot of people in Hollywood are up to, and she, you know, that's what happens. I mean, it's happened so many times, so many times. We're going to talk about Lil Nas X here in a little while, and I'm worried for him because I see so many celebrities that get this like rise to fame, and then they have these higher powers in the industry that come to collect on the fame of this person that has, come into Hollywood, that is like this new star. Why don't we prey on that? or people that have been in Hollywood for a while, they'll do it too once they start being like, okay, yeah, you're talking too much, like it's too much. And especially with the ones that have large platforms like Yay and Britney Spears. And, even more recently, not more recently Lil Nas X, but in the past, there was also an interview with Dave Chappelle on Oprah where he sat down with Oprah and was openly talking about how there had been people in his team and around him and, with Comedy Central, I think maybe, I don't know, I'll have to pull up the audio and video clip for you. But in the video, he's talking about how they are trying to get Dave Chappelle on medication. They were trying to get him put on pills because they were saying he was crazy. So, I don't know. I mean, it's all very strange to me because, I'm obviously a conspiracy theorist. Sometimes I see things that are like down the rabbit hole a little too far. Like, you lose me. I need to at least still see the sunlight from the top, so I can get out. But things like this, I wholeheartedly believe in, like MK Ultra. I believe that that's allegedly real. I believe that they do things to certain celebrities to control what they say, and also if they're not so easily controlled, they step in and, give them pills allegedly to make them go crazy. I mean, I like to only when I talk about stories and like headlines, obviously I'm going to give you the truth, everything, and like, verifiable sources and like, citable information. But yeah, there's just a lot going on, like, I mean, there's like too much for me to like say no. There's a lot of things in Hollywood that you can't exactly use, you know, you can't go on just citable sourced information. You have to just go on like what's going on here, the bigger picture of everything, because it's not always what it seems. It's definitely not. And the truth is always crazier than the lie. Oh, is that so? He must have known that I was going to start talking about the Titanic TikTok apartment girl. Yeah, say that 5 times fast. So there is this girl that is on TikTok that is recently gone semi-viral. I mean, like, I guess kind of viral, you could say, or whatever, because her apartment is being remodeled under her control to look like the Titanic. Her username on TikTok is at Titanic Apartment. If you're interested in seeing it, I stumbled upon it when it came up in my like For You page on TikTok, and I was watching the video of what she had done, and then I went to her page and like I started following her. I was like, I got to see how this progresses over time. So I followed her and there are certain things that she did to the apartment that are definitely cool, like how she made the walls look and like the little porthole features on the door and the walls and like the little water feature in the portholes and the dog gate that she has looks like the little gate from the movie Titanic, you know what I'm talking about? You if you know, you know. And it looked really cool, and then I came across another video. Hadn't seen her come up in a couple weeks. I was like, "All right, whatever, you know, hope she's cool." And then another video came up in my For You page, even though I follow her, and it's her showing her friend what it looks like and debuting it to them for the first time. She's still working on this actively. She's not finished. The friend was in this, like, hallway of, like, blue and what looked like silver cellophane flooring, and curtains bundled up on the walls and different lights, and it just honestly was so cluttered looking to me. I was like, why would you do? You already live in New York. Why are you making your space even smaller than it already needs to be? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand this. I know I like to hate on a lot of things, and typically on any given day, I'm all about supporting weirdos and their little interests because I too am a weirdo with my little interests. But this is something I just cannot stand by and support. I can't do it because girl, there's in several of the videos you can see that she has what I didn't go verify. It looked like an Italian greyhound, a very small, shaky dog. And this dog, like, I'm just like, my heart aches for it because I'm just thinking to myself, like, how does that dog feel? How is it handling this? How is it handling knowing that its entire apartment is getting renovated into looking like a fucking sinking ship? I mean, what's going on here? The dog's going to need therapy by the end of this. This is where I draw the line because we're past a point of this is my cute little hobby to go viral on TikTok, and now we're in full blown hoarding psychosis. um I hope this girl can get the help that she so desperately needs because I'm very concerned, especially for the dog. I just think about him just sitting there, just shaking, just shaking. And then, like, is she lowering the temperature to the apartment as well to mimic the temperature that was, outside on deck of the Titanic, or reminiscent of the iceberg, perhaps. Maybe the temperature of the water that it was when the thousands, however it was, of passengers that drowned and died that night. I don't know. These are questions that you'd have to ask at Titanic apartment TikTok girl. So,
it's so confusing sometimes.
You can definitely tell she was somebody that was burned at the stake during the Salem witch trials, but that's okay because so was I. I'm just concerned about her dog in the long run. That's really all I care about. Her friends are not helping her. She seems to only have friends that like come over and they're like, "Hey, yeah, this is crazy," and then probably leaves and talk shit about her in the group chat that they don't include her in. So. Okay, so next up on the docket, we're going to be talking about Millie Bobby Brown and her new husband, Jake Bongiovi. Yes, that is baby Bongiovi. Like AKA like the band, like Bon Jovi, like John Bon Jovi. His son is married to Billy Bobby Brown. If you don't know, is 11 from Stranger Things, if you've watched that show. They are married. I don't even think they've been married for like a year or so, but they've been together for a few years. He's 23, she's 21. They are still babies, but they are married. They have money, so on both sides. So who gives a fuck at this point? I mean, who cares if they want to get married at that age? They can definitely afford the marriage, divorce, and any kind of public backlash that they could get from this relationship. I mean, really, love don't cost a thing to them. But this is something I wanted to talk about because they have just recently announced that they have adopted a daughter. Like, full on adopted a baby.
He has a kid. Who has a kid? Luke has a kid. Luke has a kid. Luke has a kid. A kid like a goat? A kid like a daughter. She's 12 years old.
I don't support anyone having children before their frontal lobe is developed. But again, devil's advocate for myself, they've got money. So these are the only kind of people that should be having children at the end of the day. I mean, I don't, what can I say about it? I'm not somebody that can afford to have a child. So I don't have children. This is my child. And,
That's life.
what a life. all I really had to say about this was, you know, Millie Bobby Brown. I'm very concerned. I wish you guys well. I hope it's going well. They already have the baby. Um, I don't know what the baby's name is, but she made an Instagram post, talking about it, and she said, and then there were three. So, and then there were three. Another Bongiovi. So, they're giving really Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Like, this is what it reminds me of. Like, it really does remind me of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Like, I wonder how many more kids they will adopt before they're like a few years, like, well into their marriage. And then they will have their own children. And then they will adopt more. So that's my prediction. I think that they're going to follow the Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie path. I hope it works out better than it did for, obviously, Angie and Brad, because as we know, I mean, it ended so badly for them that Brad Pitt's, own, blood children are changing their fucking last name, now that the divorce is finalized and everything. I don't know what happened on the plane that night or day, whatever. But, I do know that when someone is an alcoholic compared to when they're not an alcoholic, they're sober, like that, it can straight up be Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So I don't know what happened that day. I hope in the future that they can maybe, I know, I hope one day in the future that they can maybe reunite, because, time is fleeting, right? Time is fleeting. You never know how much time you're going to have until you don't have it anymore. So, I know, baby, I know. Okay, next up, we're going to be talking about Lil Nas X, like I mentioned before. So if you have not seen it, there is a video going viral right now, or at least it was going viral a week or two ago, of Lil Nas X from the streets of LA that someone took very early in the morning, late at night, whatever you want to say, of him, basically walking the street in the middle of the street where cars are driving, walking the runway seemingly in one of those white Speedos that you would find on one of those Magic Mike Australian, Thunder Down Under people from Las Vegas or whatever, and white cowboy boots. Just, living life. So I was a little concerned because I was like, why is he doing this? Everything that he does gives off like PR stunt to me. So you really never can tell like what's true and what's not with him. This seems a little too real, I think, to be a PR stunt. Like at first I kind of was like, oh, this is definitely a PR stunt. Like this is not real, but he is actually facing 4 felony charges from the LAPD. So after he was arrested walking the streets of LA, he obviously spent the weekend in jail, and he ended up getting hospitalized for a possible overdose on the 21st. This was about 8 days ago. Like I said, he could potentially face years in prison after new felony charges were filed on Monday following last week's arrest. So on Monday morning, I think of this week, TMZ reported that 4 felony charges have been filed against him, including 3 counts of battery with injury on a police officer and 1 count of resisting an executive officer. The LA District Attorney's Office confirms to People. Arraignment is set for this afternoon in Van Nuys. So this was a few days ago. Per California Penal Code, convictions of felony battery on a police officer and resisting an executive officer can see jail time of up to 3 years, as well as a $10,000 fine for each charge. So he was initially arrested and charged with a misdemeanor on accusations of assaulting a police officer. He was also hospitalized for the overdose, like I said. though the spokesperson was unable to confirm. So we don't know. So they say that's what happened, but we're not exactly sure. LAPD told people on the 21st that officers responded to the call of Lil Nas X being nude in the street just before 6 a.m. on Ventura Boulevard. Lil Nas X went on to allegedly batter an officer, so he was booked for a battery on a police officer charge. Following the arrest, he was taken to the hospital for treatment. People can confirm that he had since been discharged and was booked on the misdemeanor charge around 11:22 a.m. on the 21st. Lil Nas X, like I said, spent the weekend in jail before his hearing and arraignment on the 25th. So this was just a few days ago. Months before his arrest, though, he did share cryptic messages regarding his mental health on Twitter, aka X, saying these last few years were pretty difficult for me. They have been pretty difficult for me. He mentioned, I guess he said it twice. Why did they fucking say that again? He mentioned that he felt like he had been flaky and all over the place. He also told fans what they could expect from his music following the pretty difficult few years. I'm just now like arriving to this place of feeling confidence in myself and what I'm doing. I'm trying to make sure I put intention towards my music and my vision and the creativity of it all. So I don't know what's going on with him exactly. Like I said in the beginning, I had my theories about PR stunt, but that would be really fucked up if the LAPD is getting involved with PR stunts for like album rollouts. Like at that point, like we can't take the police seriously. Like, so this is real. This is real. But like I said, I worry because it's like, what does he know? What has he seen? Why is this happening to him? Was it just too much, too fast, fame wise, too quick, too much access to drugs, and, just partying and party culture. I mean, they're like, it is for sure a thing that people can go and will go into psychosis when they already have certain mental illnesses or had the mental illness and have never been at a disadvantage with it before or have never experienced like anything really happening with it, and then all of a sudden they do a bunch of cocaine and or start drinking up a lot or doing both or doing just a bunch of some kind of substance or something like that and just partying or whatever the hell they're doing, and all of a sudden you're walking the streets of Ventura Boulevard at 6 o'clock in the morning in a Speedo and cowboy boots. So thoughts and prayers to Lil Nas X. I hope that he does get the help he needs, like his dad said in the statement that I saw his dad give the press. So I send my good vibes to him, but for the most part, all my good vibes are with me right now because Snoop. Right, baby. I love you. Okay, a quick lesson in pop culture. I wanted to cover this really quick because recently in the press, Kirsten Dunst has been doing press for an upcoming movie I think she's got coming out. I didn't look into what movie it is, so don't come for me. I'm doing it all here by myself. So, if and when it comes out, I will let you know about it and I'll let you know how I feel. So, recently she did sit down for press, like I said, and it got brought up about the pronunciation of her name. And I think she's probably talked about this before. I mean, she had to have. I mean, based on the conversation and the context of the conversation that I saw the clip from of her in the press, like, she's been trying to tell people how to properly pronounce it for years, but she's like just given up at this point because people just don't listen to her. Like I said, and like you just heard me say, here's your lesson in pop culture. It is not Kirsten or Kristen Dunst. It is Kirsten Dunst. Kirsten. Say it with me. Kirsten Dunst. You hear me? It's Kirsten Dunst. Not Kirsten, not Kristen, not Calliope. where the fuck that come from? Grey's Anatomy. Kirsten. Okay? And while we are at it, in case you were also unaware, because a lot of people still are, or just, closing their fucking ears, putting their little earmuffs over their ears when she has been telling people over the years and has been saying her own name over the years, and somehow still people mispronounce it. It is not Rihanna or Rihanna. It is Rihanna.
Jesse!
Rihanna. Okay? And you can look that up. You can look up several videos of Rihanna. Sometimes I fuck up and still say it wrong, but I know it's right, and then I correct myself. I know it's wrong, and then I correct myself. Because I'm just so used to saying it one way for, literally over a decade. But it is Rihanna. Okay? So, Kirsten Dunst and Rihanna. Say it right. This is something that's very important to me and I'm very passionate about because I am someone who has always been a victim of people who cannot pronounce names and don't try. I mean, you couldn't even imagine the kind of shit people have tried to say my name is over the years. Not even just my last name, because even sometimes, if you listen to my podcast, listen, if you're saying it as a normal person, it's Bumbaco, because that's how you guys would pronounce an A. If you're not from New York or New Jersey or Boston or something like that, you would say Bumbaco. Okay? I mean, even Boston, you would say Bumbaco. Ka. Ba. See? That's how they say their A's. Okay? Me, you hear, when I say it, it's Bumbaco. Because I just say the A like that. It's like this. It's supposed to be the Sopranos, right? The Sopranos, soprano, right? But we say the Sopranos. Sopranos, Bumbaco. Get it? So pronunciation is all about who's saying it. I'm saying it the way I would pronounce it just with my accent. I'm still saying it correctly, though. People have said Boombaco, 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 Bumbaco. There have even been people over the years that have not known how to say my name because Teresa has an H in it and not no H. It's just the first time they've ever seen that before in their lives. I had a substitute teacher in my junior year English honors class, and the teacher was calling roll, and my name is one of the first ones called because of my last name being a B. And with her whole chest, no hesitation, she just goes, Teresa.
How could you do this to me? Question mark.
And I was like, bitch, please die. What? I couldn't even believe it. I was like, Teresa? And she was like, again, with her whole chest, that's not how you spell Teresa. I'm like, oh, really? Because here I am, a Teresa who spells it that way. I don't know what you're even telling me right now. What are you, the Teresa police? What the fuck is this? I in my life, never. And I was like, no, it's Teresa. And I started getting wound up. I was like, well, you've never seen it spelled that way before just because there's an H in there. All of a sudden you're thrown off. It's silent. Teresa. Hello?
Hello? Are you fucking
What?
stupid?
And my friend Tori was sitting next to me. She was laughing. She was like, oh my God, it's not. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? But yeah, no, so it's very important to me to properly pronounce names, or at least try to. I know I butcher a lot of names on here, but you know what? I apologize. So whoever is listening to it and I've butchered your name, like I do in the moment, I apologize. I apologize now. I apologize in the future for any other names that I will definitely butcher. But most of these names that I butcher are really hard to fucking say. And I probably still do pronounce them correctly because I can read. A lot of people cannot read. Like, that's a problem. Like, that's a big thing on the internet. Like, that's why there are so many, like, crazy people on the internet, is because, like, nobody can read. Like, they did not grow up reading books. They didn't pay attention in school. They weren't picked to read aloud in the class. If they were, they never were again after they actually did. And basically all these people learn to read context clues on the internet. So they're all fucking illiterate. So that's just my quick pop culture lesson of the day. You're welcome. Okay, so I have another one up on the docket here. I'm just gonna try to get through this as fast as I can. Hopefully I can cap this at like an hour and 20. Like, hopefully, we'll see. So if you are familiar with Real Housewives of New York City, like I am, Sonja Morgan, the infamous Sonja Morgan, she sold finally that townhouse that she's been trying to sell forever in New York City, you know, a while ago, right? She sold it, like, not like a while, like years ago, but like maybe a year at most. So she sells this townhouse, I guess, to some guy. And the whole point of selling this townhouse to him, or for him to want the townhouse, he told Sonja, was like, oh, I want this for my wife and I. We're going to live in here. Bah, bah, bah. So this past week, Page 6 broke the news per Paper Magazine's article that Sonja's former townhouse, okay, has been renovated into a sober living facility.
What?
The fucking irony on irony is crazy. So I guess this sober facility is a luxe recovery facility called Release Recovery, which offers a carefully designed program that offers the structure, accountability, and community support you need to maintain your recovery and integrate what you learn into your life after treatment. As it claims on its website, residents receive an individualized four-tier recovery program that teaches clients to nurture their recoveries, gain the skills to pursue their ambitions, explore healthy and productive outlets for self-growth, and practice sustainable self-sufficiency. Okay. Per the outlet that is reporting about this, I guess when they first heard about this, they went right to Sonja and told her what's going on in the new townhouse, because I guess she didn't know. And it says here, when we told her about her old home's new life, Morgan, I can't fucking read. When we told her about her old home's new life, Morgan said via text, HHHH AAAA. So just ha. I don't know. She added that the buyer had told her he planned to live there with his wife, so she's surprised to hear it, like I said. A week later, neighbors are also kicking up a fuss. So, according to a recent report from Page 6 sources, had this to say about the developments in their neighborhood, meaning the townhouse. There are so many different people going in and out. At first, we didn't know what was going on. Several neighbors have been talking about it, even the doormen. Another source said the house has become an issue in the neighborhood. The house is like Grand Central. Sonja should move back, with more fearing it may affect the price of their home. So, I mean, like, it's honestly funny because, like, the irony within irony of all that is that they probably a while ago did not want Sonja in that building anymore. Like, you know, when Sonja was still married to like John Morgan or whoever the fuck his name is, you know, like of the, you know, JP Morgan or whatever the hell, when she was still married to him and still had, you know, her daughter, Quincy, I think her name is, in the townhouse, they were probably like cool with her, you know, because she was married to, JP Morgan fucking, you know, bloodline. And then they got a divorce and then she started doing Roni and they were like, we don't want this. Like, they, you know, like rich, you know, people like Sonja Morgan, you know, JP Morgan people rich, they don't want that shit around their fucking building. So they probably were not happy with Sonja, you know, living there anymore and doing what she was doing. So they probably were like, get her out. Like, honestly, we're happy when she left. And now,
Oh, Hell no, I did not leave the South Side for this.
Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. You know, be careful for wishing that Sonja moves out, because you just might get a sober living facility instead. And I'll tell you right now, I would way prefer Sonja. Like, she seems like, just such a fun neighbor. Like, she seems like, somebody that would just like, spur of the moment. She wants to make cookies at like, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and, doesn't have a cup of sugar, and she comes next door and asks for one, and then just, is the best. So I don't know. I love Sonja, and very strange to see a New York City townhouse meant for a luxury living turned into a sober living facility. I think that's very bizarre, but to each their own. What can you do? What can you do? I don't know what the fuck he wants. Let me figure it out. Okay. So next up on the docket is something that's not really on the docket. This is not a news story. This is just something that's really fucking spooky scary. So let's get right into the spooky scary skeleton time. So I put Snoop back on my bed over there because I probably only have like 15, 20 minutes of recording time, and he's getting antsy, and it's going to start getting really warm in my closet for him, and I don't want him to overheat. So I wanted to tell you guys about this because I can't remember when it happened exactly. I can't remember if I did talk about it on the podcast or not. I think I may have. But earlier this year, maybe late last year, I received something in the mail that was for a paid survey to take on behalf of the Nielsen rating system. Now, if you don't know what the Nielsen rating system is, it's something that used to be more popularized in, like, I don't know if it was around in the 80s, but it was definitely around in the 90s. There's a whole Roseanne episode about it, they get chosen for the Nielsen ratings, and then they don't want to do it because it's like, just to base on the demographic of like, poor people and, Lanford. Anyway, so that's neither here nor there. But I did want to talk about this because it's crazy, because I did this paid survey. I think they paid me through like Venmo or PayPal or something. And then it just like came through maybe it was like through PayPal, and then it came through my Venmo, or like Venmo to my bank account. I can't remember, but I only got like $10 for this thing, right? So whatever, doesn't matter. But I was all excited initially because I thought it was going to be some way they were going to get a meter put onto like my Wi-Fi, or like maybe an app I would download to my Apple TV, and it would like monitor what I was streaming. I didn't know what exactly it entailed, but it was just kind of like a survey that I had to fill out, and I mailed back, whatever. Or I did it online. I think that's what it was. I did the online version. So anyway, flash forward this past week, the week before. So it wasn't this past week, but the week before. My mom gets a letter in the mail addressed to her from the Nielsen rating system. She opens it, and it's like a brochure and a $10 bill. Like cash money. Not like, oh, go here, fill out this survey, and link your PayPal or Venmo. No. A $10 bill. So first of all, weird.
Scary.
And my mom doesn't give a shit about these kinds of things. She's like, I'm just gonna fucking throw this out. So she tore the brochure in half without even reading it. Just took the money and was like, I'm not doing this shit. And I was like, wait a minute, I want to do it if it's something to do. So she's like, here. So she gives me the brochure back. I'm like looking at it. I start reading the brochure. I don't have the brochure still. Otherwise, I would show it to you. I swear, I thought it was still in the like little trash bag I had in my room. But it turns out I had taken that trash bag out and replaced it already. And so I wasn't taking through the trash to get it. But so I look at the brochure. And in the brochure, I'm going to look at my notes here. So, because I took notes. So like I said, in the 90s, they used to have like some kind of thing called a meter that used to hook up to your like cable line, your cable box, whatever you had your setup to be, and determine like what you were watching based on your like demographic and like location, and use that for like TV networks to determine what kind of shows and movies or whatever people are watching in that area, right? So now this meter that it's advertising in this new brochure for the Nielsen rating system, it's trying to get us on is some kind of little monitor that looks kind of akin to a Fitbit, but not a watch version, just like a little, almost like a GPS tracker, if you will, that clips to your physical person. What? Okay, now stay with me. Not your cable, your physical person. It doesn't connect to your Wi-Fi. I mean, I'm sure it connects to your Wi-Fi, but does it? I don't know. Because it doesn't connect to your fucking TV monitor, not your Roku, not your Fire Stick, not your Apple TV, none of that. Just your physical fucking being, okay? So you ask, you think, Teresa, what does that even mean? What does that mean? Like if it clips to your physical being and not the fucking shit you're watching, how does it collect the data? Well, I'll tell you how it collects the data. It listens to you. Everything you're doing. Everything. I didn't get beyond to know, like, if there's, like, a power on, a power off, a certain time you let it listen. But I'll tell you right now, if it listens at all, it's listening all the fucking time. It's not like, no, turn it on between 5 and 8 p.m. when I have my screen time. No, that's not what it's going to be. It's not what it's going to be. Okay, it's going to be listening all the fucking time, okay? So I'm already freaked the fuck out. I'm like, what? And then at the bottom, it's saying like, oh, don't worry, though. It doesn't store any of the audio records. Yeah, okay. All right. What was I? What do I look like? I was fucking born yesterday? What the fuck is this shit? I mean, honestly, they're like, oh, this is like, somebody that doesn't live in like, a fucking multi-million-dollar home. So let's bait them with a $10 bill, and hopefully they'll be stupid enough for us to monitor every sound that they encounter in their lives. From now on, what am I getting out of this?
Guess what, motherfucker?
Because you ain't gonna fucking pay me for that shit. What are they gonna use it for? AI? Use my voice for AI or something? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? It's not going to just listen to everything you say. It's going to listen to everything you watch, everything you hear, everything you witness, everything someone says to you, every encounter you have with somebody. It's going to record all of that shit. Tell me that's not the most terrifying thing you've ever heard of. So, yeah, I followed suit with my mother on that one, and we threw it out. And in the trash it goes, and we'll stay. 555. I see you, universe. I see you. All right. Next up on the docket, I have to briefly touch on Burning Man 2025 that's going on right now. If you don't know what Burning Man is, look it up. It's in Black Rock, Utah. It's a music festival / vibe that fucking occurs for a week out of the year, like the end of August, like, usually stops like right before Labor Day, or like goes until Labor Day or around that time or so. I talked about this in 2023. We talked about it. The Burning Man Moop. The Moop. Yes. Moop. Moop? What is Moop? What is Moop, do you ask? Matter out of place. What matter? I couldn't tell you. I mean, maybe I knew. Maybe it told me. It tells you like what the matter out of place is, or whatever the Moop was. I definitely probably told you in the episode from 2023. But, let me tell you, there's a lot that's fucking happened between now and then, and a lot of fucking trauma that I've endured from now and from then until now. So, you're lucky I'm even here able to remember that Burning Man Moop was a thing. So I wanted to bring this up because I wanted to look up some articles about what's going on, because, some people on the internet are like, oh, it's not as bad as it seems, while I'm literally watching like multiple videos people are posting like there on the playa, which is what they call the grounds of Burning Man, in like 50-mile-an-hour windstorms, like can't see shit, like just raw dog in life. Anyway, so This article I found from the San Francisco Chronicle, it goes on to talk about how this Burning Man staple called the Orgy Dome has been destroyed.
You better wake up, you nasty!
I know, so sad. I mean, devastating. How will they ever recover? I don't know. I hope thoughts and prayers. I hope the best. Oh, the Orgy Dome is damaged. Oh, so sad. So I don't give a fuck about these Burning Man people. I've said this before. I mean, you're stupid. You're stupid. This isn't like Coachella. It's hot. Like, this is like...
The world is a jungle.
If Diplo and Chris Rock are hitchhiking rides out of Burning Man in 2023 in the back of some random dude's pickup truck, if money can't rescue you out of that situation, bro, that is not a situation I want to find myself in, okay? I'll tell you right now. So I wanted to kind of go over this article that I found from like I said, from the San Francisco Chronicle. So the Orgy Dome has been destroyed by high winds in Black Rock, organizers say. The Orgy Dome, one of Burning Man's longest running and most notorious attractions, was destroyed during a fierce storm. The collapse came after a weekend of brutal weather already battering this year's festival, which began Sunday, August 24th. Dust storms with gusts up to 50 miles an hour tore through the Nevada desert, injuring at least 4 people, toppling campsites, and destroying art installations, including Black Cloud, an inflatable sculpture by a Ukrainian team. Founded in 2003, the Orgy Dome has become one of Burning Man's most infamous fixtures. Run by a sex-positive collective, a.k.a. sex addicts, that's my input, it offers festival goers a climate-controlled space outfitted with mattresses, couches, and pillows where participants are expected to enter with a consenting partner. Organizers describe I know Snoop, like he's crying down there. I'm about to pick him up. Organizers describe the dome as a place to promote education about consent and the importance of its practice beyond intimate space, aka a place that sex addicts can all go and not feel shame for being disgusting.
Disgusting.
I said what I said. Anyway, last year the attraction reportedly welcomed more than 5,000 visitors. You nasty. You nasty. You nasty. You fucking nasty. Okay? Long lines forming outside, they say. Burning Man draws about 70,000... Alarm. Burning Man draws about 70,000 people each year, running through Monday, September 1st. But that doesn't matter, like I said, because starting yesterday, Thursday, August 28th, traffic started lining up that was taking up about 8 hours of time for people starting to leave the playa to escape the wind and rain and impending moop conditions that they all subject themselves to by their own free will. I mean, like, honestly, really, for real. There's nothing more to say. There's nothing more to say. I've heard of something very similar at Coachella. Like, apparently there is a girl at Coachella, or I've heard of a girl, like, rumored that there's, like, a girl that does, like, I'm just so grateful, fingers crossed, that I never get fucking stuck next to this girl. But apparently there's a girl at Coachella that hosts some kind of, like, gangbang or train or something like that, like, in her campsite, like, that she posts on Reddit, like, every year, like, this is where my camp is, just come through this night. And she just gets railed by hundreds, if not thousands, of dudes that just come through and come on her, in her, whatever the fuck. I mean, like, honestly.
Oh, hell no! I did not leave the South Side for this.
You're nasty. You're nasty. You're all fucking nasty. You're disgusting. You're disgusting. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I'm supposed to, like, be with a man, and, like, there's a chance, there's a window of opportunity that this man was taking part in a Coachella train.
Yeah! What? Okay!
Or a Burning Man Orgy Dome party.
All the girls stepping out for the
You nasty. I said what I said. All right. I have to talk about forbidden topics. So I have to briefly touch on this thing because I didn't know about this. This is how like disconnected I am from like Taylor Swift and like Travis Kelce lore and like whatever the fuck else. So back in, I guess, like April or something, this initially first came out. Like there was like some kind of Sports Illustrated article, but I'd never heard about it. So more recently, I had something pop up on my feed. I could not find a better source than The Sun, but The Sun did give me all the information I needed. So Travis Kelce has this weird underground bunker for memorabilia related to him that's in some kind of underground Kansas City Chiefs bunker lair for like Kansas City Chiefs shit. And this is what's crazy. So I'll just read you the article. So ESPN has aired The Kingdom, which is, I guess, a documentary that follows the Chiefs during the 2024 season in the team's quest for a three-peat. During the first episode, the Chiefs showcased their underground bunker. The Chiefs' room underground features memorabilia from the team's entire existence. Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, and head coach Andy Reid were both given a tour of the facility, which is called the Subtropolis in Kansas City. But it is also revealed that Kelce has a hidden box at the site.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
However, the 35-year-old didn't even know the item existed until he was shown it in the docuseries. The items in Kelce's personal box, dirt per people, who received an exclusive tour of Subtropolis earlier this month. However, the dirt isn't just any ordinary dirt, as it's the substance that was stained on Kelce's jersey from the catch he made during the last NFL football game played at the Oakland Raiders Oakland Coliseum in 2019. The stadium was built on an infield dirt baseball field in Oakland, California. Apparently, though, this is what's crazy. Patrick Mahomes, who's like, I don't know. I feel like he's kind of been a little bit bigger than Travis Kelce for a little bit longer. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know football like that. And I'm also not dating a man right now that like lives and dies about football. So don't come for me if I'm wrong. But Mahomes had no idea that this Subtropolis even existed, even though he's been with the Chiefs since like 2017. So I guess in the documentary, he says it's a random entrance. I've been here for 8 years and never even knew it existed. This feels like a James Bond supervillain that you go on. This feels like a James Bond supervillain that you go on in there. The fuck does that even mean? And Kelce replied, hey, you might be onto something. I'm with that. A little Indiana Jones. The historian Bob Moore held up a pair of shorts from the 70s worn by ex-coach Hank Strom up to Reid. I've seen Coach Reid in a pair of them, Kelce joked. Weird. I think that's so fucking weird. I think it's weird. I think it's, why are we putting football memorabilia 150 feet underground? You know, there's a lot of like weird underground bunker shit going on with celebrities lately. And I really don't like it because I have not gained access to a bunker yet, you know, because the apocalypse is coming. But it's very concerning that there are so many, and it's coming out that so many have them and are prepared for the end times. Like, it's really giving like Ryan Murphy apocalypse, like American Horror Story apocalypse. Like, honestly, I'm not a huge, I don't fuck with Ryan Murphy anymore, but like, you know, when I'm rewatching certain things, like there are some things I will rewatch of his, and American Horror Story apocalypse is one of them because it's a great TV season. One of the last best ones that he did. But that's what it feels like. Even when I watched that season, I was like, this is going to happen. I was like, this is like, because I mean, he always like does some weird shit that's like, this this is probably real. There's got to be some truth to this. Other than the whole like Anton LaVey shit that they like made a mockery of in Apocalypse, everything else was like pretty crazy. All right, I'm coming. All right, next up on the docket, we're going to be talking about the SNL cast firings. So, a few of them are probably firings, definitely, based on the response from at least two of them. One of them is probably like, oh, I'm just moving on kind of thing. So, Emil Wakim, Michael Longfellow, Devon Walker, and Celeste Yim have all been cast out of SNL, along with Heidi Gardner, like I said. So I'm not exactly sure if Heidi Gardner was passed on for the new season or if she chose to leave, but based on the fact that Heidi's been there for 8 years, maybe she chose to leave. I don't know. I'd honestly have to go back and rewatch like the SNL like 50th special that they did, like not the show, like the documentary, like behind the shit. I'd have to rewatch that because I think she says like how long she'd do it for. I don't know. So I could be totally wrong and she didn't want to leave, but I was fine with everybody up until like Celeste and Heidi, because Celeste is a writer on the show and I like love her, or them. I'm not sure. I think they're non-binary. I'm not sure. And then Heidi, I love Heidi. But I was like, let's go, girls.
Let's go, girls.
I was very happy about. They're not funny. People are like, oh, they just weren't given the opportunity. I'm like, listen. If you are good, like, you know, if they give you the opportunity to be in a sketch and to your sketch, like, makes it through dress, okay? And it goes to the live show, all right? You're in there. If you're good enough at what you do. Yes, will there be times where you're having off nights? Absolutely. But not every time. And if you're good enough at what you do, you'll be able to make shitty parts and shitty sketches funny. Like you'll own it. You'll do something your own with it that's just so good. Like like that's how it used to be, man. That's like that's who used to be on SNL. Like people like that used to be like, it didn't matter what the sketch was. Like they honestly are what kept SNL on the air, because like they were funny regardless of. They were funny regardless of what was going on. You know what I mean? Sorry if that was bothering anyone that saw that crooked coffin on the wall. But yeah, I don't know who else is going to be cast out of SNL at this point. We'll have to see. This could be it. I mean, Heidi Gardner is a pretty big one. So I don't know who else could be leaving at this point. So I'm not sure. God, don't take Chloe Fineman. Please take Jane Wickline. Please take Jane Wickline. Please take Jane Wickline. Leave Chloe Fineman alone. Please take Jane Wickline. Please leave Chloe Fineman alone. Take Jane Wickline. Yes. Okay. Abe Satanas. All right. So we only have, this is the 12th story. We have 13 stories, so I can never tell. It's next to last, second to last. I don't know which one is which, but we're almost done. Next story is the last one is the point. So I wanted to touch on this really quick because I did go off about this in the comment section of the WWE collaborated post that they made with the wrestler and like, I think Nikki Bella Garcia, whatever the hell her name is. I don't know what the fucking name is. One of the Bella twins. No beef with the Bella twins. No beef with them. None at all. Like they did nothing wrong. But this Becky woman, I started hearing wind that this Becky woman who's like a wrestler or whatever has this like WWE upcoming event in like Europe or whatever. I don't know how the WWE events work, but I guess they're like all over the world or whatever the hell. It's not just like WrestleMania in the US or something. It's like something's going on in Paris or Munich. I'm like, what? Anyway, so it's a big thing. So Becky Lynch was at the most recent WWE like Raw broadcast on the 25th. And I guess the topic of Birmingham in England came up. And Birmingham, as you may know, may not know, that is Ozzy Osbourne's official hometown. Like that's where he was born. That's where Black Sabbath was formed. That's where, him and Sharon had moved back to the outskirts of, in their, home on the, in their grounds. I don't know how you'd say that. Whatever. I don't know words I'm trying to find, but that's where Ozzy's from. So she said in her WWE script, in her promo, the only good thing that came out of here died a month ago. But in fairness to Ozzy Osbourne, he had the good sense to move to LA, a proper city, because if I lived in Birmingham, I'd die too.
You clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in.
So, first of all, fuck you, WWE, and fuck you, Becky Lynch, and fuck you to whoever the writer was that wrote that line for her. And again, fuck you, Becky Lynch, for saying the line and not saying this is too far. Because I went to her page and she's got a pretty large following. So she must have been doing this for a long time and has a significant fan base, whatever. So my thought is that she probably has a little say-so on certain things. And like, there are probably options for her to say, different things that she could say. And putting the seal of approval on this is just not the way to go. I think she's trash. I think it's wrong. And if you disagree with me and think, oh, it's just wrestling, blah, 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 I don't fucking care. Because Kelly Osbourne is disrespected. She feels disrespected and she's pissed off. So she went on her Instagram and she didn't even know, like, that's how irrelevant this woman is, like, in the grand scheme of things, this Becky Lynch person, because she accidentally tagged her fan page. She said, at Becky Lynch fan LL, you are a disrespectful dirtbag. Birmingham would not piss on you if you were on fire. Hashtag Birmingham forever. Shame on the WWE for allowing such things to be said about my father and his home.
How could you do this to me? Question mark.
Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. And it's true, because how dare you? He literally has been gone a month and a week today.
Disgusting.
What? This is not the fucking thing to say. This is not like this is not the roast of Ozzy Osbourne to promote WWE. Like, if you feel like you have to make a punchline out of the death of Ozzy Osbourne to disrespect his hometown a month and a week after he dies, then you're purposely trying to get viewers, ratings, audience goers, whatever you want to say for these fucking upcoming events, because you're struggling and now you're playing on the back of a dead man and sacrificing the feelings of his family because you're worried nobody else is going to watch otherwise. Like, honestly, eat shit and die. And that's all I got to say about that. That's all I got to say about that. All right, everybody. Last story on the docket. This is a really interesting one. This is not entertainment news related, but I thought it was pretty fucking crazy because it came up on my, I don't know where it came up, but I was like, whoa, wait a minute here. So per ABC News and multiple other news outlets, you can find this everywhere. Federal officials say they are investigating the discovery of cremated human remains in the Nevada desert. Now, you might not think that's so weird, right? But kind of weird. Okay, hold on. Wait just a minute. A CBS affiliate in Las Vegas reported as many as 70 piles of ashes were found. 70. Not one, not two, not three, 70. Okay? The Bureau of Land Management confirmed in an email to the Associated Press that the remains were found on public lands outside of Searchlight, about 50 miles south of Las Vegas. The Las Vegas TV station 8 News Now reported Monday that as many as 70 piles of ash were found on BLM land along a dirt road. The CBS affiliate obtained photos showing small gray piles clustered together with cacti and rugged hills in the background. The BLM said it was investigating the discovery along with the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. The police department referred all inquiries to the BLM, which declined to provide more information, including estimates on how many piles were found. So there could be more. There is no Nevada law barring the scattering of cremated remains on public land. BLM policy that allows for a person to scatter ashes limits commercial funeral homes from doing so. So you as a person, if you're given cremated remains from a funeral home of your loved one, dog, whatever, cat, whoever, lizard, gecko, rat, whoever, bird, you can do that. You can do whatever you want to do. But if it's like a funeral home, they cannot do that. I'm really spooked out because what do you mean 70 piles? Like, this is so fucking crazy. Like, if I hear any updates about this, I'll definitely let you guys know what's going on because I'm really intrigued. Who be leaving piles of quote unquote pulverized human bone found? Like that's what they said. Pulverized human bones. So, I mean, I don't know. I would imagine like if I were an investigator in this case or something like that, I would definitely be the one to be like, okay, what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to make sure that this person is deceased on record. We're going to figure that out. We got to figure that out. Because I would imagine like if somebody's like really dead, don't they like have to take like fingerprints of somebody when they're like, or like however that happens, you know? So like if, I don't know, is that a thing? I should probably look that up, but you know, we can't do it all. I'm a self-producer here, but I'm curious to know now. I wonder if you have to have some kind of DNA on file to prove death certificate or get a death certificate.
It's so confusing sometimes.
I'm trying to think of like what death certificates look like because I've seen a few in my days of like going through medical documentation, doing accounts receivable. Anyway, so I guess that's a wrap on this 42nd episode of the Pop Cultured News. I hope you had as much fun as I did, keeping you as updated and as pop cultured as I physically can. You know I do it all for you and the love and support you keep on giving me. I'm so loved. We're so loved. You really love us.
You love me. You really love me.
I'm so grateful. Keep on spreading the good word, and don't forget to turn on those automatic downloads wherever you get your podcast. And if you don't follow me on social media, what's your damage? That's at Bumba.cast for Instagram, Threads, and TikTok, as well as YouTube if you're watching at the Bumba.cast pod. So, until next time, I'll see you soon, my little Bumbabees. Okay, baby. That's it. That's it, Bean. That's it, Bean. That's it, Beans. That's it, little beans. That's it, little beans. That's it, Mommy's done. You want to go to Target? Go for a ride in the car? You want to go for a ride in the car with Mommy? Yeah? You want to go for a ride? Oh, sweet Bean, let's do it. He do the stretch and the bow as a boy.